The one other thing I wanted to say is that I have some pictures again of the continuing problem of our community on the west side. As you can see from the pictures, this is just along the street called Sequoia, but it's across from La Palma, the overpass. I want to thank our police and staff for their amazing efforts to make the city of Anaheim the model for affecting real change in Orange County and how we treat our most vulnerable population, our homeless. We have moved hundreds from the streets, alleys, and flood control channels to dry, warm, and clean shelters where they can receive the help they need as we move towards permanent supportive housing. However, our work is not done. There are areas of Anaheim that harbor stubborn encampments that threaten the health and safety of those that live there, as well as those that live near these encampments. I am specifically referring to the encampments along the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way. As you can see, this situation has become a tragedy for those in this encampment and for the neighborhood that are adjacent to them. Were there other pictures, Teresa?
It was just the one picture, Councilmember
Okay.
Burns.
So neighbors have called the Union Pacific, sometimes daily, with no effect. Fairmont School has expressed its fears and frustration as it too has reached out to the city and the Union Pacific for solutions. I have personally reached out to the railroad company and have gotten nowhere. I'm asking on behalf of the residents and students who are near this encampment to come up with solutions to this situation. I'm asking our city manager, chief of police, and our city attorney to put their heads together to see what can be done to force Union Pacific to clean up this area and to restore it to a clean and safe place that we expect in our community. I also ask that we look into reimbursement for expenses incurred by city staff and police to help the railroad company with cleanup efforts. Would you please check back to me by the next city council meeting with your suggestions? Thank you. I also want to lay out there that the city attorney entertained the thought of suing. We've had so much problems and the residents are just at wit's ends. They are literally hostages in their own homes. And this is one of maybe 5 or 6 other tents that are there from the last city council meeting that I was here at. And I'm going to keep reporting this until it's taken care of. I'm really very upset that other things can get done in 10 or 30 days. But, if I did something in front of my house and left this kind of mess, I know I would get written up or all this stuff would be confiscated from my front yard. And so I'm really emphatic to please demand that we get some answers and some resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm out here by the railroad tracks, and I'm over here with Tony, which they've been doing a cleanup out here. So Tony, you've been trying to get in touch with the county, city, and
yeah, Lou. About say February 20th, we come out here. We're all looking at some of this trash that has been piled before, or something that we had incurred ourselves. So we go, you know what? As regular, we're Orange County internally displaced persons and homeless. We figured our responsible job is to pick up trash. That's been the #1 issue all these years. Right. So I try to get orange trash bags from city of Anaheim. I sent voicemail to a few of the council members. Dr. Moreno, of course. And I try to get board supervisor Andrew Doe, because he's from Fountain Valley. I have a lot of Fountain Valley roots. HCA and Outreach Engagement. And I talked to Mike Lister and Public Works. I said, we need bags so we can pick up the trash, because that's what they say the #1 issue is. That was February 20th. And I couldn't get any. And then that board meeting came up and they said, homeless, we make trash. We collect it and bag it, And all of these is not stolen.
Yeah.
We bought it.
Yeah, well,
You know what I'm saying?
the thing is picking it up because they're piling up over here, and I see you have some over there, so the city could pick up, because that's what they
Yeah,
said.
but what's interesting is when I got a hold of the Union Pacific, who Anaheim City Council says they now want to force them to kick us off of here, is that we bagged it and tagged it, and they said they'll pick up our trash. That was their last line, is Anaheim will pick up the trash. So we're going to move all this line up to where it says no dumping, and we'll put that little business card on that says, here's the trash that you will pick up, council member. And we've done our job of being responsible citizens, and we still got a lot more to go to ensure that we have a spot and not driven from our homes. And they should pick it up. I'm going to have a sign ready for them tonight, and we've got a lot of bags for you to pick up trash.
Yeah.
And we thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to still try to get orange bags, though, because I still haven't got one. I might get one from Arizona. And she speaks on behalf of the council and the city of Anaheim, where they allocate 90% of their efforts against the homeless. Criminalizing us or harassing us, I don't know, but 90% of their work effort and their legislation is pick up the trash. We bag it, come and get it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Well, as you can see, we got a lot of trash has been picked up. They keep it clean out here, or they try to keep it clean as long as they have bags, which we brought some black bags here. And hopefully, if we could get the city to come and pick up at least once a week, because they should be able to, because the shelters are actually full. I have people that want to go out to the shelters but can't because for some reason they're full, even though there's they say there's beds available for the police, but that's emergencies. So
You know, Lou, just a quick point is I think when they're saying that you have to prove you're an Anaheim resident,
yeah,
I think that's like a catch-22, because that's their new stance, meaning we came off the riverbed, Anaheim, we went to Beach Boulevard, and we're in Anaheim, and our license might say Mary's Kitchen or the EBT place. If it doesn't say Anaheim, they're going to try to disqualify us and arrest us or ticket us. So I think it's it gives them a too much leeway to try to interpret the law, which is incorrect, because we might have a mailing address at Mary's Kitchen, which they've been harassing the homeless when they leave, is that we have a mailing address, but we live here. So they're going to have to modify it a little bit, because they're trying to give themselves a vehicle to arrest and ticket us for no reason.
right. Because if they transfer you from the riverbed to Anaheim motels and stuff like that, then why not to the shelters, right?
Exactly, because all of a sudden, if we went into the shelter, we were in housing before, or we were in the shelter before this new position, we've already been vetted because we've already in there, right? So what else can it be? The logic is sound is that, well, you're giving yourself a method to arrest and ticket it, contrary to what the Ninth Circuit Court has decided is that you can't do that. So they got an oxymoron going on, and it's very clear. It's evident, self-evident.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, this is Luno People's Media out here by the railroad tracks in Anaheim.
Denise Barnes that came to your meeting?
Yeah, well, she said something about cleaning up, so that's what we're doing now, because she's figuring that it's going to take so long for the police or whatever to clean up here. So we're actually, what we're doing here now is expediting with
Yes,
everybody else.
This is great. This is great that we all come into unity and keep everything clean, and as we go forward and build relationships with the railroad. And Denise Barnes is amazing. She's got that heart and compassion, so I'm excited that we can all work together. Tony, and you're leading this.
Thank you. I think what you said is that she's he said that she's wasn't pro or against. She's like riding the fence a little bit just to see the reaction.
I think the problem there is because she's been pushed by the community, so she's kind of pleasing them at the same time she's trying to help. So she's kind of like lukewarm, you could say.
Well, that's good. Now we
But,
can all come together and find
yeah.
solutions. Because the
And-
railroad is willing, and I'm sure the Anaheim and
Yeah.
everybody's willing. So this is kind of like at the riverbed when we all collaborated, the Parks and Recreation, the Public Works, the sheriffs, and the county. You know, we all came together and started to work together.
Yeah, you know, we don't want everybody displaced again, because now, you know, trying to look for them when they got displaced is harder, because you know, they were underground. Even the census couldn't get them there, you know?
Yeah. And you know what's key for as we go forward, because he's got an intake process that he's refined, and we know what the critical thing is the trash, and they're saying for public health is that we have to restart. We have to know the intake originally, so we can know where the homeless have gone and who's lost in the process, because the progression process can't be tracked unless we go to the beginning of who left the riverbed and where did they go. The only reason is because we don't know how that money's being spent. The audit has never been completed, and where we can engage and improve in our areas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think what's important is we get some of the volunteers who started in the beginning. Why did they get into helping the homeless? What did they do to make it successful? And are you still in the business today? And if you're not, what do you see as the biggest obstacle then?